Chapter 129. Lady Mu heard the sarcasm in Su Anon's words. Anan, although the Mu family isn't as rich as the Gu family, Jinyu truly likes you. Your uncle and I will love you as if you were our own daughter. If it was before, Su Anan would have believed the words of Lady Mu. At that time, she was extremely naive and thought that Lady Mu was sincerely treating her well. But after experiencing Mu Jinyu being together with Su Zihan behind her back, it would be weird if she trusted Mu Jinyu's family. Auntie, I still like men with a bit more money, Su Anan replied with a smile. Anan, what's wrong? Hearing Su Anan's words, Lady Mu was extremely shocked. Su Anan's smile became wider, and she asked, Lady Mu, does the Mu family have any money compared to the Gu family? Under Lady Mu's shocked expression, she continued, I don't think so. So, I still like the old man Gu Mosheng. At Mu Jinyu's and her wedding, the ones who had seen him before were Su Zihan and Di Jiangmei. Looking at Lady Mu's current expression, she probably did not know whether Gu Mocheng was ugly or not. Anan, don't choose the wrong person, Lady Mu reminded. Su Anan actually gave up their Jinyu family for money. We, Jinyu, are indeed not as good as Gu Mocheng. But Gu Mocheng is still young. How would he treat you? He's just playing with your feelings, Lady Mu said angrily, thinking that Su Anan was blind to think that she actually picked Gu Mocheng for money. I like the older ones, Su Anan disapprovingly said. His age is good. He has a lot of experience. He would not be enchanted by the fox spirits outside, and he knows how to take care of people. The most important thing is that he has a lot of money to spend. I like the old and rich Gu Mocheng. Su Anan explained her feelings towards Gu Mocheng. Anan. When Lady Ma heard this, she became extremely angry and said, Gu Mocheng ran out of money the other day. You should be crying. Su Anan replied, Will I? Did he spend the Gu family's money? Su Anan did not believe that Gu Mocheng would one day become a pauper. Someone who had the ability to lead the Gus for 10 years would not starve to death no matter where he went. Because he has a lot of management experience. Because he has the ability. Mu Jinyu was not sure, but his small company was established using the Mu family's funds. It had already been 2 years since the company was established, but it was still not very hot and could not see how much potential it had. Most importantly, Mu Jinyu's character was bad and he married Su Zihan. The two of them being together was living a passionate life. In the future, what thoughts would Mu Jinyu have to take care of his own business? It had to be said that Su Anan's eyes were very far-sighted, seeing the outcome of the battle between Mu Jinyu and Gu Mocheng in the future. Su Anan then said that Gu Mocheng had money and word for word. When he woke up, he didn't see Su Anan. After a simple wash-up, he went out to look for her. Just as he left the ward, he saw Su Anan and Lady Mu standing together. Hearing Su Anan say that she was interested in his money, and that he would take care of others when he was old, he did not get angry. Instead, he felt that Su Anan's reply was very interesting. Gu Mocheng felt more and more that the two words little wife and good manners did not match. Anan. He walked out and said to Su Anan. When Su Anan saw him, she immediately revealed a smile. She ignored the shocked Lady Ma and ran towards Gu Mocheng, saying, Hubby, I bought you a steamed bun with soup. I heard it's delicious. As she spoke, she waved the bag in her hand. Gu Mocheng took the bun in her hands, held Su Anan's waist with one hand, and walked into the sick room. When Lady Mu saw Gu Mocheng, she was stunned. Gu Mocheng's lethality was not only limited to a girl that was 17 or 18 years old. Even Lady Mu was shocked at his appearance, and the mature charm that was emitted from his body. That sort of charisma was definitely not there from the very beginning. It was something that had slowly, over time, accumulated on one's body. Lady Mu was surprised. Where did Su Anan find such a man? She called him hubby. Was it Gu Mocheng? Lady Mu saw happiness and sweetness in Su Anan's expression when she treated the man. She actually understood and did not chase after and question Su Anan. Why she did something that let Mu Jinyu down. In the end, it was her son who had cheated, and it was they who first let Su Anan down. In the sick room, Su Zihan was holding a mobile phone and watching a movie. Mu Jinyu, who was on the sickbed, was thirsty and wanted to drink water, so he called for Su Zihan to get water. However, he was ignored every few times and had no choice but to grab a cup for himself. He did not have the strength to lift the cup and could not do it. The cup was smashed to the ground by Mu Jinyu and made a clear sound. Su Zihan raised her head and looked at the fragments on the ground. Brother Jinyu, what are you doing? There was some unhappiness in her tone, causing Mu Jinyu's face to darken. What was he going to do? He'd called her many times. When Lady Mu came in, she saw this scene and glared at Suzy Han with a cold expression. "Mom, pour me a glass of water," Mu Jinyu said to Lady Mu. Lady Mu softened her face and poured a cup of water for Mu Jinyu. Suzy Han held her breath. She did not feel that she did anything wrong, and continued to sit on the sofa to play with her phone. Seeing Suzy Han like this, Lady Mu gnashed her teeth in anger. If her son married Su Anan, Su Anan would definitely serve him wholeheartedly. As she was thinking, she said to Mu Jinyu, "I saw Anan outside earlier." Hearing Su Anan's name, Mu Jinyu became excited, and he asked, "What's wrong, Anan? Is she sick?" Lady Mu forgot to ask. She was in a hurry to speak up for Mu Jinyu, and upon seeing that Su Anan was in good spirits, she didn't think about Su Anan getting sick. "I don't know. It should be fine," Lady Mu said, as Mu Jinyu anxiously went down the bed to look for his shoes. "Where is she?" "Mommy, bring me over to take a look." After Mu Jinyu finished speaking, Suzy Han slammed the phone in her hand onto the ground. "Do you think I'm deaf?" Suzy Han was furious when she heard Su Anan's name from his mouth. A shameless bitch. If she can't snatch Big Brother Jinyu away, she's going to get close to Lady Mu. "Su Anan. Su Anan, don't forget. I am the daughter-in-law of the Mu family," Suzy Han said angrily. If Jiang Mei was not by her side, she would not be able to control her temper. Seeing that Suzy Han was angered, Mu Jinyu frowned. Lady Mu's face also darkened, her eyes full of disgust. Why didn't they see that Suzy Han had such a temper before? They thought that since Suzy Han was gentle and generous, she was a tricky woman. Zihan, Annan's mother, had saved Jinyu's life before, so it's normal for us to worry about her, Lady Mu explained. Suzy Han coldly snorted, "Really? Before, when you wanted to send Su Anyan to the bureau, why didn't you think of the saving by her mother?" With these words, Mu Jinyu and Lady Mu started to feel embarrassed. "Let me tell you, don't even think about finding Su Anan. I am Jinyu's wife. If you make me unhappy, I will tell my grandmother that your Mum family looks down upon the people of the Jiang family." Suzy Han took out her Jiang family to threaten Mu Jinyu and Lady Mu. Lady Mu's heart was beating really fast due to her anger as she panted heavily while holding her chest. "Carelessly causing trouble," Mu Jinyu said with hatred. Lady Mu slowed down and said, "Even if I want Su Anan to enter the Mu family's door, I'm not willing. I just met Su Anan outside. She also met a man." Who was that man? Suzy Han thought it must be Gu Mocheng. Thinking of Gu Mocheng, Suzy Han hated him even more. If not for Su Anan, Gu Mocheng would be hers. "He's pretty good looking. I wonder who he is," the Lady Mu said to Mu Jinyu. The two of them seemed to have a good relationship with each other. Mu Jinyu's expression was calm as he thought of the man who beat him up and said coldly, "He's only a white face." In his 30s, what could he possibly be if he wasn't Whiteface, who relied on Su Anan to raise him? Whiteface? Lady Mu did not think so. Whiteface? She looked at Mu Jinyu and decided to tell him the identity of the man. Let's see if Mu Jinyu still wants to catch Su Anan. That is not the Whiteface. He is the CEO of the Guz group. Suzy Han looked at Mu Jinyu with a smile, and her expression changed. She slowly said Gu Mosheng's name. Gu Mosheng? The word Gu Mosheng was enough to shock Mu Jinyu and Lady Mu. Lady Mu recalled his man's temperament and felt that it was Gu Mocheng. Mu Jinyu did not believe her. How is that possible? How could it be him? That man's appearance far surpassed his. Mu Jinyu had always treated him as a lover that Su Anan had taken care of outside. Now he knew that man was Gu Mocheng. He couldn't accept it, and he didn't want to accept it. If it was Gu Mocheng, not only would he lose to others in terms of appearance. Mu Jinyu looked at Suzy Han and said resolutely, "He was definitely not Gu Mocheng." After returning to the ward, Su Anan placed the soup dumplings on the table and said to Gu Mocheng, who was behind her, "The steamed bun tastes really good." As she spoke, she picked up a bun and placed it next to Gu Mocheng's mouth. Gu Mocheng looked at her, paused for a moment, and then bit down. Su Anan looked at Gu Mocheng's pale face. Why did she feel unhappy? She took a bite of the bun and peeked at him. Then, she heard Gu Mocheng's cold voice coming from above his head. "Old man? Love my money?" Su Anan was startled, so it turned out that he had heard the conversation between him and the Lady Mu just now. Su Anan laughed dryly at Gu Mocheng. "Hubby, you're not old. You're not old at all. Is there still time to kiss ass to him? You heard wrong." "Is that so?" Gu Mocheng lowered his head to look at Su Anan and asked unhappily. He was paying more and more attention to being called old, especially when it came from the little girl's mouth. Oh. Gu Mosheng responded as he took out a cigarette from his pocket and started smoking. Looking at Su Anan, who pretended to be eating breakfast seriously, she asked, "Then I heard wrong. Didn't you say that you like rich men?" Gu Mosheng stared at Su Anan, holding on to her cigarette. He continued, "I also said that I like this old man." When he said that, he saw that Su Anan was so guilty that she did not dare to reply, and could not help but laugh. "Anan," he called. Su Anan raised her head and looked at him, who was smoking, and shook her head. "Say it or not?" Gu Mocheng asked with a bland voice. Su Anan was afraid of him and replied softly, "That's right." Gu Mosheng was older than her and was just an old man to her, and was also very rich. "I don't think I'm wrong." Gu Mocheng saw that the little girl did not even dare to eat the steamed bun in her hands with her head lowered. He laughed and deliberately blew the smoke in her mouth next to her ear. Her face flushed red as she raised her head to look at the mischievous smile on his lips. He was teasing her. The smell of smoke is different from what you're saying." As she said that, she pushed Gu Mosheng away and changed the place to eat breakfast. However, her heart had already been messed up by Gu Mosheng. The delicious steamed buns were not as delicious as before. Su Anan ate absent-mindedly as she secretly looked at Gu Mosheng, who was smoking. Why didn't he chase after her? As she was thinking, Gu Mocheng looked at her with the cigarette in his hand. He looked at her and said, "Come here." As he spoke, he crushed the half-smoked cigarette in the ashtray on the coffee table. Su Anan did not go over. He first walked over, sat by her side, and pulled her into his embrace. "Old man has a lot of experience and can take care of people." Gu Mosheng repeated what Su Anan said just now. Su Anan was puzzled. Why was she still talking about it? "Yes, I did." Su Anan admitted it. She nestled into Gu Mosheng's embrace and brought the bun in her hands to his mouth, trying to curry his favor. Gu Mosheng knew what she was thinking and took a bite. Hearing Su Anan call him old man, he indeed felt uncomfortable. But not to her. "Hubby, is it delicious?" Su Anan changed the topic. "I've been lining up for a long time." "And not bad," Gu Mocheng replied as he hugged Su Anan. In the short span of a month, he realized that his love for this little girl was a little scary. He talked about a fruitless love, and was afraid of it because he was betrayed. He wasn't sure if he had fallen in love with Su Anan, but he knew that he liked to spoil her. "Anan, you haven't replied to me? In your eyes, I'm really very old." Gu Mocheng minded. Su Anan thought, why was Gu Mocheng still talking about this? "Yes," she nodded, 11 years older than herself, of course. Saying that, she turned and stared at Gu Mocheng, "But I like it." Her confession was direct and simple, and it warmed Gu Mosheng's heart. "You like my money?" he asked again. "Who doesn't like money?" Su Anan muttered. This was the first time Gu Mosheng heard a girl directly admitting her liking for his money in front of him. He smiled, not thinking that Su Anan was vain. Yes, he had his own ideas about money in this world. Only some people, in the face of love, say that they love him as a person, once oppressed and threatened, then turn around to harm him. Gu Mocheng liked Su Anan's honesty. Su Anan looked at Gu Mosheng in deep thought, thinking that she had said something wrong. All men liked pure love without touching anything, but she knew Gu Mocheng was the one in charge of the Gu family. He had money and power. She liked him. She liked people who liked him. Naturally, she liked his money. This is not a conflict. "I like it too," Gu Mocheng said. "What?" Su Anan looked at Gu Mocheng in confusion. She didn't know what Gu Mocheng liked. Gu Mocheng smiled and did not continue. His words were from Su Anan, and should be because she liked money. But the truth was, he wanted to say he liked her. How many years had it been since he was in love? And how many times had he ever confessed to a girl? "If one day you don't have any money, I'll support you," Su Anan added. She guessed that after Gu Mocheng asked her, what if one day he fell? Gu Mosheng was amused by her words. How could he fall? Without the Guz, he naturally had other ways to support himself and her. Furthermore, with him here in Guz, how could he fail? The possibility that Su Anan talked about did not exist. However, her words were interesting to Gu Mosheng. "All right," he replied. "Then I will peacefully be your white face at home." Su Anan was startled. She did not expect Gu Mosheng to answer her in such a manner. He went back on his word? "No." Su Anan shook her head. "I want to raise you an elder sister, so I need to do more work in the future." This was the first time Su Anan had heard her talking about Su Ruoshu. Gu Mocheng had some understanding of Su Ruoshu's situation. Su Anan did not say anything, so he did not pursue the matter. Then you have to work hard. Mentioning her, Su Anan looked at Gumo Chang. She felt that she should tell her sister about this. Hubby, I have a sister. Gumo Chang listened, and after he said N, he indicated for Su Anan to continue. He knew that the big sister Su Anan was talking about was Su Ruoshu. She's my own sister. Su Anan continued, but her health is not good. She didn't like to say that her sister was crazy, including herself. My sister will wake up one day. People outside are saying that older sister is married abroad, but that's not the case. Hearing Su Anan's words, Gu Mosheng confirmed that Su Ruoshu was still in Su family, and that Su Hua might use Su Ruoshu to coerce him to do something he was unwilling to do. For example, replacing Su Zihan to marry him. Su Anan was about to continue, but Gu Mosheng's phone suddenly rang, interrupting their conversation. Gu Mosheng took out his phone and looked at the number on it before answering. Not knowing what was said, Gu Mosheng's face became gloomy. He then raised his wrist to look at the time and spoke to the person on the other side. What time is the first time we have a ticket to Jingcheng? 11? Gu Mocheng frowned slightly and glanced at Su Anan beside him. It was unknown if Su Anan's inspection report was out yet, but the 11 o'clock plane had to rush to the airport right now. Su Anan contacted Gu Mocheng to handle the matters last night until very late. Seeing that the in a hurry was about to leave, she knew in her heart that she had encountered some problems with the Guz business. After Gu Mocheng hung up the phone, he explained to Su Anan, Anan, I have something to do at Jingcheng. The next ticket was 3 o'clock in the afternoon. He couldn't wait for that. Su Anan was not an unreasonable person. She had already made Gu Mocheng accompany her for the night. Hubby, you can go. She hadn't suffered any serious injuries. It was just a superficial wound that was able to take care of her. Su Anan was so sensible that Gu Mocheng started to feel guilty. He agreed to wait for her to report everything. Unfortunately, there was a problem with the cooperation between Guz and himself, so he had to rush over to resolve it. Yes, Gu Mocheng nodded. I'll compensate you when I get back. I'll go with you to the doctor and get the report. Su Anan was afraid that Gu Mocheng wouldn't make it on the 11 o'clock flight. Hence, she told him that he didn't need to. But Gu Mocheng insisted on accompanying her to the doctor to ask. Only after reading the report did he feel at ease. Gu Mosheng's fuss made Su Anan feel warm. They went to the doctor's office and reported everything 1 minute before they entered. The doctor looked at the report and said that Su Anan had no problems. Like I said, I'm fine. Su Anan smiled and said to Gu Mocheng, hurry up, otherwise you won't be able to make it in time. Su Anan urged Gu Mosheng to leave. Gu Mosheng saw that the report had nothing to do and was relieved. But he was unwilling to leave. Su Anan accompanied Gu Mocheng to the main gate of the hospital, where the assistant had already driven to the entrance of the hospital and was waiting for them. I'll call Uncle Chen to come pick you up, Gu Mocheng said. When did he become a little girl? He had to tell a person 1,000 times. I can call him myself, Su Anan said. Don't treat me like a child. I can take good care of myself. Gu Mocheng laughed and patted Su Anan's head. In his eyes, if she was not little wife, what was she? He lowered his head and kissed her forehead, then moved down and kissed her on the lips. They were at the entrance of the hospital, and there were a lot of people coming and going. Gu Mosheng's kiss made Su Anan shy up. Good girl, wait for me to come back. I'll be good, Su Anan answered. She watched as Gu Mosheng got on the carriage, and then bid farewell to his carriage as she left. She was used to being with him, but now that he was gone, she really couldn't get used to it. It had only been a minute, but she was already thinking of him. He did not know when he would be able to take care of his matters, or whether he would see Gu Mosheng again after a long time. Su Anan was quickly worried about Gu Mocheng, and Gu Mosheng was also worried about the little girl. She had just been beaten, and Gu Mosheng was really worried that she would be alone in school. He thought for a moment, then called Old Lady Gu. Mom, I'm going to the Jingcheng. When Old Lady Gu heard Gu Mosheng say she would go to Jingcheng, she did not feel much. Since her son was old, she was already used to him not being by her side often. Furthermore, she only wanted to lure Su Anan over to her house to accompany her. However, she immediately thought of Su Anan. What's going to the Jingcheng? What about Anan? Seriously, something just happened to Anan and you're going to abandon her. Old Lady Gu criticized Gu Mosheng on the phone for making money and ignored his wife. Gu Mosheng directly replied, bring Anan back to the house to take care of her. Yes. Old Lady Gu was stunned. She quickly replied. Afraid that Gu Mosheng would go back on his words, she hung up the phone. Old man, quickly arrange bodyguards and driver for me. I'm going to the hospital to pick up my daughter-in-law. After old lady Gu hung up the call, she excitedly walked to the second floor. Gu Zhen, who was arguing with her for a long time, couldn't continue writing. Gu Zhen raised his head and looked at the smiling old lady Gu. Isn't it just going to pick up a little girl? Do you need to put on such a big show? With that said, Gu Zhen walked out of the study and went to his bedroom to change his clothes. He planned to stay with old lady Gu. Since Su Anan was beaten up, Gu Zhen was afraid that someone else had done it on the Gu family. Both he and Gu Mosheng had sent people to investigate, but they couldn't find out who did it so quickly. If it were an ordinary person, they would have quickly found out who did it. But no. This meant that the other party had some power. What are you doing here? Old lady Gu said unhappily when she saw Gu Zhen following behind her. If they don't follow, what if they beat you up? Gu Zhen replied. Old lady Gu was not moved by his words. She sized Gu Zhen up and said, You, an old man, can beat up anyone. Don't let others beat you up. Gu Zhen's face turned cold. He kindly accompanied her over, and just like that, Su Anan didn't know that Gu Zhen and old lady Gu were rushing over to pick her up. After she sent Gu Mocheng off, she planned to return to the sick room to pack her things, then call Fu Xin to invite her out to play. She turned around and walked towards the hospital, raised her head and saw Mu Jinyu standing in front of her. Mu Jinyu's hands were hanging around his neck, making him look very comical. He stared at Su Anan with a cold expression. He had seen Su Anan and Gu Mocheng kissing just now. Anan, how did you become like this? Mu, Jinyu said in disappointment. Every time he met Mu Jinyu, he would always hear such similar words. Su Anan was truly bored of hearing this. She walked forward and Mu Jinyu asked, Was that man just now Gu Mocheng? Su Anan was surprised, curious how Mu Jinyu knew Gu Mocheng's identity. She nodded. There's nothing to hide. Yes, my husband. She spoke with a touch of pride. There was no helping it. She was just so happy to find a good husband. Because he's better looking and richer than me, so you chose him. Mu Jinyu listened to Su Anan's sweet words and his face became very ugly. Su Anan smiled and nodded. She knew her own limits. Yeah. He's very rich. Are you richer than he is? From your appearance, even if you were to go and take care of yourself, you still wouldn't be as beautiful as Gu Mocheng. Su Anan said. Gu Mocheng was perfect in her heart. There's no other way. He's better than you in everything. His luck was off by more than 10 streets. If I don't choose him, who should I choose? Mu Jinyu was angered to the point that his face turned green. Mu Jinyu, give up. I really have no interest in you. Because you are truly unable to compare up to Gu Mocheng. This time, Mu Jinyu should be clear that he really did not like Yu Yang. Previously, Mu Jinyu thought that Gu Mocheng was an ugly and old man. So he thought that Su Anan definitely wouldn't like him. But Gu Mocheng was the man who beat him up in the hospital last time, so Su Anan had really taken a fancy to Gu Mocheng. Jinyu didn't want to admit it. The little bit of confidence he had disappeared after being defeated by the 2 words, Gu Mocheng. Don't block my way, or your hand will break a 3rd time. Su Anan said coldly. After he finished speaking, Mu Jinyu did not pester Su Anan anymore. As he allowed them through, Su Anan once again saw Su Zihan standing in front of them. When she saw Su Anan together with Mu Jinyu, her voice became shrill.